Speaking of families, though, the Kardashians, we've heard a lot.
Who?
Kardashians.
Who? I've never heard of them.
They're famous for letting everything out there on their show. We've heard a
Yes.
lot about the divorce. Over the past, week or so, we've heard a lot about the divorce.
I'm still a little upset about the divorce.
But their show is all about, they're moving cross country. They could be fighting, having a family feud. Everything is over the top and extravagant with the show. And apparently, even after all of the coverage the past few days, people still can't get enough.
Look at this chocolate chip cookie now, one.
Chloe.
I'm not eating any because I don't eat sweets.
You have to try the
I'm not
wedding
eating
cake.
any.
It's
I'm not.
traditional for you to have a taste of the wedding cake.
You've got to try our
I
wedding
don't
cake.
eat sweets.
Let's do this
My heart
buttercream
beats
one.
up.
We'll do different tiers. This
what
is
about
so
the-
good,
what about
Mom.
the-
That's crazy.
Well, now mom, grandmother, manager, producer, the glue that holds the family together, Kris Jenner is here, and she has given us even more dirt in her new memoir titled Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian. And you have been busy lately.
I know. We were
Yeah,
joking around
it's a
saying
little-
you've done 182 interviews just this morning alone.
I feel like that. I feel like I've been up since 2 a.m.
Yeah, well, let's just put it all out there, all right?
Okay.
And you're on Better, so you can do whatever you want to do on our show, all right? Forget about
love
all the
you
other
guys.
interviews. We talked a lot about the show, the marriage, the divorce. People have asked you a million and one times if it was a sham, blah, blah, blah. You've got the book coming out,
Yes.
which is out now.
Yes.
And I read it. I absolutely love it. Got
Oh,
a lot of
good.
pictures in there, so we are going to get to that. But we do have to discuss something as far as, Kim
Yeah.
and Kris is concerned. I know that everyone's been asking you so much about whether it was a sham or not, and your answer was no. But
No.
people still do not believe that. Why do you
You know
think
what?
that
You
we're
can't
still thinking?
control what everybody, believes. I think part of the problem is it gets perpetuated by the media. People write ugly things and start throwing out huge amounts of money numbers and that they know nothing about, like pulling, straws out of the air. And it's just, you can't control it
Well,
on
Kris,
some
let
level.
me ask you this. You're like the business manager extraordinaire. Everyone comes to you and wants to know how
Yes.
you do what you do.
Yes.
How come you don't stop those rumors when they first come out as opposed to now when you got to do the damage
Right.
control?
Well, you know what? There's so many, and we're busy filming, and I'm not a publicist. I am, I keep my nose to the grindstone and I do my job. And we do have people that do that, but they can't just address every single. It's such ridiculous numbers and such, ridiculous lies that are being printed. I just want to let people know that just because it's written or printed on the front page of a newspaper or a magazine doesn't make it true.
Wait a minute, you mean if it's on the internet, it's not necessarily true?
No,
Shocking.
don't. Yeah, well, you need to spread that around.
Yeah.
Like globally.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question. Now that the initial shock of the divorce and everything has happened, do you have any sense of Kris and Kim and how they're handling it? Are they communicating at all? How are they doing in the
You know
middle of all
what?
this?
Kim is trying to do the best she can. She obviously had to make a really difficult decision. Our family is very sad. My main concern now isn't about all this other stuff. It's just about how Kim and how she's doing. This is a hard thing to go through. You wouldn't go to all this nonsense to come out with this outcome. And it's devastating, and it makes me very sad for all of us, for my little children, for Kendall and Kylie, who are my youngest daughters, and for Rob, and just for every single family member is going through a tough time.
Kris, does this make you any more cautious about what you will let the cameras film next time around, or what you will let them, see regarding your family and your kids going through this with Kim?
You know what? We have the most amazing fan base and viewers that have been so supportive and loving through all of this, and they know us well enough to know that we're an open book. We don't do things for cameras, and we don't not do things for cameras. It would be very difficult to start editing ourselves at this point and do a television show that we weren't ourselves. We're not actors, we're not actresses, or singers or dancers. And, well, Rob's a dancer now. But, we are, what you see is what you get. We tried to make a deal very early on in filming our show that we would be real, and we continue to do that. The audience and the viewers and our fans, the true ones, not the haters and everybody who wants to take a shot, but people that really follow us and are there with us know exactly what's, authentic and what's real. If we start, doing that nonsense now, it wouldn't be what we were all about.
The downside of it, I mean, obviously you've marketed the family in genius ways, but the downside of it is that you then do have to go through all these things publicly. There's no way for Kim to have a private divorce, something most people would get to go through privately. But you don't really get to do that because you've sort of made that deal with the devil of, hey, we're going to live our lives so publicly.
Well, for me, it's really not a deal with the devil. You know, I think that for us, we knew what we were signing up for. I think anybody who achieves a certain level of celebrity has to deal with a certain amount of scrutiny or criticism or comments, even positive or negative, when they go through something big. So when she was getting married, it was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And then she, you know, she had a horrible thing happen and she had to call it off. And now you get that side of it. So I totally understand that there's two different sides and the reaction and, you know, what I, you know, hope for her. The only thing I care about is how she's doing. So I feel like the most blessed, grateful person in the world because we get to do what we love. And I think that shows. You know, we work really hard. And at the end of the day, the girls have really, really good hearts. And they're good people. And they would never do anything, you know, other than what they really believed in their heart.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have more with Kris Jenner.